today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to make this beautiful skirt. It's more of a skirt and a shirt within, okay? Someone sent me this challenge and told me, Anita, could you try making a skirt? I didn't even know about the name. I just learned it. Well, I just learned it. Yes, so to get our material started, we are going to need a zipper. I just thought that I needed a zipper because I feel like I want my shirts to be super fitting, and the fact that I'm not going to have a drawstring for my waistline, that's why I chose to have a zipper. And I'm going to have, you will need a needle, this kind of needle, okay, and threads. And I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook, if you can see that. You'll need a pair of scissors, a tape measure, and I'm working with this kind of yarn. It's Robin 100% acrylic, and it is 100 grams. So this is size 4 yarn. So let's get our tutorial started. So we are going to make a knot, just like this. And you're going to get your tape measure, or if you have your waist measurements in your head, please divide the digit by 2, okay? For example, if someone has a 24-inch waist, okay, divide the number by 2 and that will give you 12, okay? And now from 12 we are going to subtract 2, so that will give you 10, okay? So the inches you're going to work here are going to be equivalent to 10 inches, okay? I don't know. I think it's just so better in inches, but if you're working in centimeters, that's the same thing you're going to do. Get the total number of centimeters for your waist, and then divide the digit by 2 and subtract 2 inches. So in centimeters, that would be 5 centimeters, okay? You subtract 5 centimeters from the digit that you get after dividing, and that's the number of chains that you are going to work when starting your piece. So once you have the number of chains you need worked, you are going to work a half double crochet into the 3rd chain stitch from the hook, and continue working 1 half double crochet into every stitch until you come to the end of your chains. So once you come to the end of your row, you will chain 2 and turn your work, yarn over. Now into this very first stitch you will work a half double crochet and work 1 half double crochet once again into every stitch until you come to the end of your row. So clearly we are going to work 1 half double crochet into every stitch for every row until we have a total of 5 rows. So let me meet you guys after you have your 5 rows, then I'll show you what to do. Once you have your 5 rows complete, we are now going to start working an increase, okay? And here we shall chain to turn our work, work 2 half double crochets into the very first stitch, and we shall continue working 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way until we get to the last stitch here. That's where I'll meet you and then show you what to do. So once at the end of the row, you will work 2 half double crochets into the very last stitch. So we made our first row of increase. It may not show right away, but then it will show later on. So for the next row, we are not going to work an increase. Instead, we are just going to work chain 2, turn your work 1 half double crochet into every stitch until you come to the end of your row. So I'm going to meet you at the end of your row, then I will show you what to do. So here we are at the end of our row of no increase. Then now here we are chaining 2 and turning our work. Now for this row we are going to work an increase. So into the very first stitch we chain 2, turn our work. Into the very first stitch we work 2 half double crochets all in this very same stitch, and into the next stitches we are going to work 1 half double crochet into every stitch until we get to the very last stitch. And once at the very last stitch, we are going to work 2 half double crochets into it to end our work. So basically, let me just explain this so that I don't come back to do the very same thing. Guys, we are going to be working that kind of increment. Okay. One row or one normal row, 1 row of increase, 1 normal row, 1 row of increase, 1 normal row, 1 row of increase, just like that until we have a total of 16 rows for those who are working for a size small or medium. 16 rows for sizes small, and then 18 rows for sizes medium. Now 20 rows for sizes large. So clearly, guys, I have finished working my rows and I have 16 rows in total, as you can see. So I'm going to start working an increase for my crotch area. So once you are done, you are going to count all the stitches you have on your last row, okay? I personally have 51, so I'm going to divide the total number of stitches on my last row by 2. So 51 divided by 2, that will give you 25, remainder 1, okay? So what I am going to do is I'm going to get a stitch marker. This is going to be my acting stitch marker. 51 divided by 2 gives you 25, remainder 1. So I'm going to count 26 stitches and mark the 26th stitch. So clearly, this is where our crotch is going to go, okay? Now I'm going to get my hook and insert it into the loop. Chain 2, turn your work. Work 1 half double crochet into the very first stitch. And then continue working 1 half double crochet into every stitch for all the stitches until you get to the marked stitch. So once we get to the marked stitch, we shall take out our acting stitch marker, and into this stitch we are going to work 4 half double crochets all in the very same stitch. So this is for the increase for our crotch. And now for the next stitches, we are going to work 1 half double crochet into every stitch until we come to the end of our row. Okay, so this is what we have. So I'm going to let you guys do the very same thing for your second piece, and I'm going to meet you after you have 2 pieces complete. My second piece is going to be a multi-stripe colored piece, so a multicolor striped piece. So it's up to you whether to do one color or to do just like I have, and just do the very same thing. So let me meet you after you have your 2 pieces complete, and then I show you what to do. So here I am. This is my my second piece, and this was my first piece. Okay, now to go ahead and work our crotch, we are going to be joining these 2 pieces from here. So let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to first get this piece and just put it aside but close to me, and I'm going to get my first piece where I ended. So I'll chain 2 and then turn my work. Into this very first stitch, I'm going to work 1 half double crochet, and I'm going to continue working 1 half double crochet into every stitch until I get to the increase that I worked for my crotch. So I'm right here. These are the 4 stitches that we had in the very same stitch. Okay, 1 2 3 4, actually from here. So I'm going to work my half double crochet into the first stitch, and I will work my into the second stitch. All right, so into the third stitch, that's where I'm going to work 2 half double crochets into the very same stitch. See that? Okay, so now here I'm going to chain 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Now I want to join this to this. Make sure you're placing them in the right order, because now for me this is the inside and this is the outside. All right, so make sure you're placing them in the rightful order. And now that we have 10, I'll place my other piece on top of the second piece that I was working with, and I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to look for this stitch, the second, from here, 1, 2, should be the second, but sometimes when you count it looks like it's the third, but you can see these are 4 and now this is the center. So that's why I'm going to insert my hook and then work a half double crochet, and once again into this very same stitch I'll work my half double crochet. Then I'm going to go ahead and work 1 half double crochet into every stitch heading to the end of my row on the other side. So I'm going to work my row until I come to the end right here. That's where I'm going to meet you and then show you what to do. Once at the end of your row, you will chain 2 and turn your work. Now we are going to be working, we are now going to be working our leg. Okay, you can see that we have created that kind of bridge. So chain 2, turn your work into the very first stitch. We are going to work 1 half double crochet, and we shall do the very same thing for all the stitches until you get right here. That's where I'm going to meet you and then show you what to do. So guys, once you are here, we are now going to work into the very first chain stitch. Now we are working along the bridge and we are working into the opposite side of foundation chains for the bridge. So just like that, we work into every stitch and we are working 1 half double crochet into every stitch until we come to the end of the row. So once we get to the end of our stitches, we shall now get into this half double crochet and we shall work 1 half double crochet, then continue with 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way until you come to the end of your row right here. So right here, once at the end of your row, this is how your work should look like. So here you will chain 2 and turn your work and into the very first stitch. Now I'm just going to show you, for those who are working the very same piece like I am, like if you're working stripes on the front and then a solid color on the back, this is what you will do. But if you're working just a normal color throughout, please from here just work 1 half double crochet into every stitch for every row until you have the length of the shorts that you desire. All right, now for you guys, I'll just come back and show you how to work your second leg. But those who are working multi stripes on the front and a solid color at the back, this is what you do. So you chain 1 and then work 1 half double crochet into every stitch until you get right here. Okay, so right here is where I'm going to meet you. So work this until here, then I'll meet you there and then show you what to do. So guys, as you can see, I am right there. See that? So from here, I am going to cut my yarn intentionally because I want to change my color. And I'll grab the color that I want for my next row, and this is it. So I'm going to yarn over. Now this is me attaching another color. So I will yarn over and insert my hook into this next stitch and then pull through yarn. All right, so I'm going to go ahead with this color, working 1 half double crochet into every stitch until I come to the end of my row. But just to show you how to weave this within, to crochet these ends within, you just lay them on top of your row and you start working on top of them. So from here you continue working your half double crochets until you come to the end of your row. So you see what it's going to give you. It's going to give you that front multicolor stripe that you're looking for. Okay, so work this until the end of the row, then I'm going to show you how to work the next row. So once at the end of my row, I am also intentionally going to cut this because I want another color onto this. So this is my last time I'm showing you guys how to work, how to exchange your colors. So you will attach your yarn and chain one, then you are going to get this and just secure your ends just like that. Now get these ends and pass them in between the loop and the yarn. Okay, then turn your work, yarn over into this very first stitch. We work our half double crochet and then work your half double crochet in the next stitch. So do the very same thing for every stitch. Well, it may look like it's a lot of work, but if it's a lot of work for you, you know what to do. You can just choose to do it differently. So just work your one half double crochet into every stitch until you get to this point. So let me meet you guys there. So I'm also going to work into this, and here I will cut my yarn and get back to the maroon. Sorry, so here I just yarn over and then insert my hook into the next stitch. Make sure these two are well placed and they are fixed very well. Okay, so I will go ahead and now start working my row until I come to the end of it right there. Okay, so that's how you will interchange colors if you want to keep the multi-stripe on the front until you have the length that you desire for your shorts. So let me just show you guys how to work your other leg, okay, because there is something a little different right here. So that's what I'm going to show you now, and then let you guys work the entire piece on your own. To work your second leg, you'll get onto this side where you had stopped and attach your yarn, then chain one, secure the ends, chain one, and then insert your hook into the very first stitch. Work your half double crochet. See, I'm going to be working on this side, okay? So work your half double crochets until you get to this stitch right here. So into this very first stitch here, okay, you work 2 half double crochets in the very same stitch. This is the crotch stitch, okay? Remember we worked 2 half double crochets this side, so we are doing the same thing so that it's equivalent to the 4 half double crochets that we worked here. Now this is now the different part of it that I was telling you guys. Now from here we are going to go at the top of the half double crochets that we worked before we worked these chains, right here at the top of them, and we shall work a slip stitch, more like to attach these 4 onto this so that they look like they were worked together. And now into the very first chain stitch of the opposite side of the bridge chains that we work a single crochet, and in here into the next stitches we work a single crochet. Those are 3, and continue doing this until you have the total number of chains that you worked, stitches that you worked for your chains. Those are 5. So as you can see, this is the 10th stitch, so we go in there and do that. Now instead of working a complete single crochet, we just work this and then yarn over. Now insert our hook into this stitch right here where we have our 2 half double crochets, and to work the 3rd half double crochet for the crotch in here, so we yarn over and insert our hook in there and then pull through all. So it's more like just to give us a resemblance of having a slip stitch right here with next to the 2nd half double crochets on this side. So that's it. So we work our 2nd half double crochet again into this piece, and now from here we just work 1 half double crochet, into every stitch until we come to the end of the row. And once at the end of your row, you will chain 2, turn your work, come and work your half double crochets the way you see them go until you come to the end of your row, and do that until you have the length that resembles the length you have for this leg. Okay, so I'm going to meet you to work our flip, like the skirt flip and our waistline, and also joining these ends. All right, so guys, this is how my work looks like after working all my rows. You can see. So here is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to work single crochets along this edge, okay? And I'm going to do the very same thing for all edges. So this is what you have to do. So you'll insert your hook into that very first stitch, and here you will chain 1. All right, so into this very first single half double crochet, into it you will work a single crochet, and into this joint you work a single crochet. Into the next half double crochet stitch you work a single crochet. Now we shall go all the way into this joint and work a single crochet, then right there a single crochet, and in there. So literally I'm not going to be like particular about how you should work your single crochets. Just work your single crochet in a way that it gives you a fine edge. Okay, you may not follow exactly what I am doing, but for as long as you have a single crochet stitches that give you a fine edge, and they do not look like you worked so many of them or very few of them. Okay, so do this until you come all the way down here, and you're going to do the very same thing for all the edges. Okay, all the sides, because I already worked mine, so I want you guys to work all your edges just like this, and then I'm going to get back and show you how to work the flip or the wrap that is going to go on the front. So guys, I have finished my edges, and here, first of all, before we start to work the wrapper, I don't know how we are going to call that, but let's call it the wrap. Okay, remember the number of chains that you started with when you were working your very first row for your waist. Okay, and I want us to leave about 10 stitches from here. So you're going to subtract the total number of stitches you had or you started with for your project, and you're going to subtract 10 stitches. All right, and once you subtract 10 stitches, the number that you will have from here up to somewhere here is exactly what we are going to use to start our flip. All right, and what I'm talking about, what I am trying to mean about the flip is exactly that is in the picture right there. You can see that flip is a little over to this side. All right, and that's what we are going to do for our flip. So I'm going to put this aside, and I'll just get back to it when explaining some. So here we go. So once you have those number of chains that you had to work, okay, you are going to get into the third chain stitch from the hook and work your half double crochet. You're going to work 1 half double crochet into every stitch until you come to the end of your row. So guys, this is what is going to happen. In the picture, our wrap looks asymmetrical, so it moves like this. Okay, it has that diagonal cut. All right, so it wouldn't make any sense if we crocheted this flip straight. All right, because I just literally want to mimic what's in the design right there. So what we are going to do for this step is we are going to work one more normal row, and then on the next we are going to start working a decrease. So let me work my next row. Okay, so to work your next row, because it's going to be a normal row, we just chain 2 and turn our work, and we are going to work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch, just like we have been doing. So I'm going to let you guys work this until you come to the end of it, and I'm going to meet you on the next row and then show you how we can start working on our decrease. So clearly I have come to the end of my row, and I have 2 rows of just normal 1/2 double crochet. So I want to start this asymmetrical or diagonal cut, and from here I am going to chain 2 and turn my work. And I'm going to work 2 1/2 double crochets together into the first 2 stitches. And I'll continue working 1/2 double crochet into every stitch until I come to the end of my row. Okay, so do this until you come to the end of your row, and that's where I'm going to meet you and then show you what to do. So once at the end of your row, we are going to chain 2 and turn our work. Now for this row, we are just going to work normal 1/2 double crochet stitches without working any decrease. So we chain 2, turn our work, and work 1/2 double crochet into every stitch until we come to the end of our row. So here we are at the end of our row, and this row we are going to chain 2, turn our work, and work a decrease. There you go. After working, you chain 2, work 2 1/2 double crochets together into the first 2 stitches, and after that we work 1 1/2 double crochet into every stitch until we come to the end of our row. So there we go, and you can see we are already having this kind of diagonal cut. Now for this row, remember when we were working our shorts, if you can remember, we worked 5 normal rows before we started working an increase for the hips. And right now we have 1 2 3 4 5 rows. So that means on the next row we are going to work an increase for the hips right here. But then remember, on this side we have worked a decrease, so that means the next row should be a normal row. It shouldn't be a decrease here, or else our decrease will be enormous like this. Okay, so that means we are going to work an increase here and then just work normal 1/2 double crochets all through until the end. Okay, so let's do that. Chain 2, turn your work, work 2 1/2 double crochets into the very first stitch. Okay, this is where our hips are going to go, and this is where the diagonal cut is. So we work 2 1/2 double crochets into the very first stitch, and then we are going to work 1 1/2 double crochet into every stitch until we come to the end of our row. Once at the end of your row, remember this side, now on this side I have to have the cut still going on, so I have to work a decrease here. But then on this side, if you can remember clearly, we were working 1 row of an increase for the hips, and then the next row would be a normal row. Okay, so that means here we are going to work a decrease so that we have our diagonal cut, and on this side it's going to be normal stitches, no increase whatsoever, because we just had an increase for our hips on the previous row. Okay, so once again we chain 2, turn our work, and we work 2 1/2 double crochets together into the first 2 stitches. That's to get our decrease, and then we continue working 1 1/2 double crochet into every stitch until we come to the end of our row. So guys, so far this is how my work looks like, as you can see. Okay, so just to elaborate for you what you are going to do for the next 12 rows, this is what you will do. You are going to be working, now for the next row, we are going to work an increase here, and then normal 1/2 double crochets until the end. And then the next row after that, we shall start with a decrease and then normal 1/2 double crochets until the end of the row. So clearly that means if you are working an increase on this side, you will end the row normally, and if you start with a decrease, you will end the row normally. So that means For the next row you work an increase and the next when starting the row, and the next row you work a decrease when starting the row. All right, so that is going to go on for the next 12 rows. We already have 7 so far, so for the next 12 rows just keep doing that, and I'm going to meet you after those 12 rows and then tell you what to do. So guys, so far this is how my work looks like. You can see this is my piece, and over here I have a total of 27 rows from top to bottom, and my flip or my wrap has 17 rows. And I forgot to mention, if you're working for sizes large, if you're working for sizes medium and large, I had said for the next 12 rows from the 7 rows we worked. So for guys working for sizes medium, you will work for the next 14 rows, and those working for sizes large, you will work for the next 18 rows. So I have a total of 19 rows right now. For sizes medium, you will have about 21, and sizes large will have 23 rows. All right, so from here, since we are going to be working following the number of rows we have left for our shorts, given the length that you worked for your shorts from the crotch up to the bottom, okay, yeah, you will be working for those number of rows from now on. But the difference is, remember our hips have now increased. We have increased on this side of the hips. We have increased for the number of rows that we actually increased on the shorts. So we cannot keep on increasing, working an increase on this side, yet we have met the size for our hips, okay? Because if you haven't met the size for your hips here, you can keep working an increase or following what I was doing. But for me, I have met the increase that I worked for my shorts on this side for the hips. So that means I still need the diagonal cut going on like this, okay? But then what I'm going to do this time is, once I work a decrease of 2 half double crochets when starting the row on this side of the diagonal cut, instead I'm going to make sure I follow it by 2 normal rows. Why? Because if I keep decreasing the way I have been decreasing, I'll find that my short is going to go like this, okay? And that's not what I want, because now I no longer have the increase to cover up the stitches I've decreased this side, okay? Because I'm no longer working an increase on this side, I'm just making it straight, okay? So I'm going to be working a decrease here, and then 2 normal rows, and then a decrease and 2 normal rows, because I'm no longer working an increase this side. This side is now going to be straight until I meet the length that I worked from the crotch area to the bottom of my shorts. I hope I am clear, guys. I really hope I am clear. So from here, we are now just going to be working a decrease every after 2 normal rows. A decrease every after 2 normal rows, and this side is going to remain straight, okay? Yeah, so now I'm going to do that for the next 8 rows, because I have 17 and my short is 20. I have 19 rows and my short is 27 rows. So I'm going to be working the next 8 rows in that format of 2 normal rows and then a decrease, 2 normal rows and then a decrease. The decrease should be on the diagonal cut. So I'm going to meet you guys after that and then show you what to do next. So I finished working my my flip or my wrap, and I'm just going to work something extra. So if you check out the picture right there, you can see that we have that asymmetrical corner at the bottom of the flip, okay, because this is now going to be like this, and you want this extra corner right here. So to have that extra corner, this is what we shall do. So we chain 2 and turn our work 1 half double crochet into the first 3 stitches, and then we shall work 3 half double crochets together into the next 3 stitches. So chain 2, turn your work, here we work 3 half double crochets together into the first 3 stitches, and then work 1 half double crochet into the next stitch. So it's really not kind of a huge thing, but at least it's going to give us that kind of drop, just like it is in the picture. So now from here we are going to work single crochets all over these edges, okay, from here up to here, and then we work all the way on this edge, and once again we work all the way on this edge, okay. So I'm not going to show you how to do that. I'm just going to let you guys work your single crochets until you have all the edges worked. Then I'll get back to show you how to stitch all these pieces together. But also, if you work your piece and you get to find that you're really not like super confident with what you have, or maybe you feel like the wrap is a little small, you can just work a few rows of single crochets over this edge to just give you that kind of like gauge or width that you want for your wrap of leaf, okay. So guys, we are going to stitch this piece onto this, okay. Are you seeing? We are just going to stitch this here with our darning needle and also stitch this together. So let me just take you through how you can do that. It's very simple. I'm not going to stitch the entire piece with you guys. I'm just going to give you directions on how to stitch it. So we are going to be getting into the back loop of each piece on both sides, okay, just like this. So once we go in like that, yeah, we do the very same thing, going into the back loops like this and like that, and getting over them. Just like that. So this is me stitching now the flip, the piece that is going to be flipped over and wrapped over the shorts like a skirt. It's what I am trying to attach to the front piece of the shorts, okay. So just do this all the way until you come up. Now for this second the front loop is what we are going to stitch together. It's what we are going to stitch together for the back part. But now when you're stitching now this short, the front piece of the short and the back piece of the short, please turn your shorts in out so that you stitch them together. And here you'll be getting your needle into the back loop and then into the front loop of the front piece, okay. And I want to see that we have stitched together all these pieces, the flip and the shorts together, okay. And once we have that complete, you will do the very same thing on this side, but on this side you will work it up to some level up here, okay, up to some level up here, so that we leave room for the zipper to go all the way up to our waistband, because we are also going to work a waistband up here, so it may end up like having this kind of length. So make sure that your zipper can go all the way from the top of the waistband all the way down to where you stopped sewing your piece together. I have finished sewing my piece on this side, so this is how it has to look like. So just make sure you work all your pieces. I'm going to get back after I have sewn fully my pieces, and I'm going to show you what to do next. All right, so I have finished stitching my pieces together, and you can see this is well stitched, okay. And it is well stitched over here as well. So now what I am going to do, I'm going to work a belt. So I'm going to get my yarn and make a knot. I'll chain 4, 2, 3, 4. Into the second chain stitch from the hook, I'll make a single crochet and then work a single crochet into every stitch. Chain 1, turn my work 1 single crochet in every stitch until I come to the end of my row. So I'll chain 1, turn my work 1 single crochet into every stitch until I come to the end of my row. So I'm going to do this for as long as I want my belt to be. Okay, so I'm just going to get back and show you how my belt turned out. So here is my belt, guys, and I'm going to get this belt now that I have finished working it, and I'm going to get on this side where I have to put my zipper. Okay, I'll just find a point where you can put this belt. I think a little lower, just maybe like there. I'm going to get my darning needle and start to crochet this onto this, but I'm going to be working into the front loop. Okay, so here we shall cut our yarn, our one belt, and now we have to work the second. Yeah, we have to work the second belt. So just place your belt right here and see where to start from. So it's right here. Now to work my second belt, remember it has to be on this side of the flip. So I'm going to insert my hook, chain 1, work a single crochet into this stitch, and then work a single crochet in the next stitch. Those are 3, and finally 4. Okay, chain 1, turn your work 1 single crochet. Continue doing this until you have the very same length you had for the other belt. So I'm going to finish up my belt later, but just to show you the next thing that you have to do now is, to work your waist, if you do not want to stitch the band onto this is the trick you can do. It requires a lot of patience. Now you get your hook into the end of the piece, and you will chain 7, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Now into the second chain stitch from the hook, you work your single crochet and continue working your single crochets until you come to the end of your row. So once here, we shall get into the first stitch of our front piece right there, and then work a slip stitch into the next piece, turn your work, now get back and work 1 single crochet along this single crochets that we worked for our band. You work 1 single crochet into each one of them. This is a trick I usually use, but some of you feel like it's maybe hard. So if this is hard for you, then you just have to get to stitch this band onto this piece. Okay, chain 1, turn your work 1 single crochet into every stitch, just like that. And here you get into the next stitch on the front piece of the shorts. Also work a slip stitch into the next stitch, then turn your work into the first stitch over this side of the band, and go ahead working 1 single crochet into every stitch. So it's just a matter of going up and down, up and down. You can see what we have created, but remember this flip has to be on here so we don't miss out attaching it. Okay, so once I turn my work, I'm going to work 1 single crochet into every stitch until there are 6 of them. So if I'm not mistaken, this is where I have to start now attaching the flip onto what I am doing. So what I'll do here is I'll get into the first stitch of the flip right there, and also get into the next stitch of the front piece and work. Sorry about that. So I'll work my slip stitch, and once again I'll do the very same thing for the next stitch of the flip and the next stitch of my front piece for the shorts, and work a slip stitch. Now here I'll turn my work and work my single crochets along this band the way I have been doing. Chain 1, turn my work. Are you seeing how it's attached? Work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way down, and make sure there are 6 of them. Now once again, when you get here, you work into the next stitch of the flip and the next stitch of your front piece for the shorts, just like that. So you work a slip stitch, do the very same thing, next stitch of the flip and the next stitch of the front piece, and work a slip stitch once again. Now turn your work, work your single crochets along the band, chain 1, turn your work. So it's that simple. You are now going to keep doing this all the way for all these stitches, making sure that this is stitched together, and then come around up until you get back to this point. Now once you have all that worked, that's why you're going to get your zipper, okay, and stitch it onto this piece, like from here up to here on both sides, and there I believe we shall have our skirt complete. Okay guys, let me just take my time and work my skirt and complete it, and I'm going to get back to you guys and show you just how it looks like or how it turned out. And I hope you all have learned something about this video and tutorial. Let me see you all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching and supporting me, guys. I really don't take that for granted. Please make sure you go to my Instagram and follow me. Also my TikTok, I always put updates on the next challenges I'm going to work or tutorials I'm going to work before I actually put them here. So you can just always go and check out my TikTok, also just to get more knowledge about crocheting that I know of, because I don't know everything. Thank you so much, guys. Goodbye.